Vanustude Pranamami Hari Vanjakalpatarubhyascha Astu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shashwin, for the wonderful Mangalacharan. Hare Krishna, everybody. So now we are on chapter 10. We are almost 1 year old and we've come to the half. I think the whole Gita will take us 2 years if we do a shloka a day, I think. So we are on chapter 10, and chapter 10 is called the opulence of the absolute. We are going to be doing text 1. Our mentor for today is Avinash Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of everybody from this group. Thank you, Prabhuji. So we'll recite the shloka and read the translation and purport like we always do, and then we can hand over to Prabhuji, who will give us the acronyms. Prabhuji, we don't have the acronym of chapter 9 also. So you'll...
So we can do chapter 10 acronyms first, and then we'll go back to chapter 9.
Okay.
And see what the time is like.
Okay. Okay, so let's read the first text. Shashwin, will you read the first text?
Yes.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bhuya eva Mahavaho Shrunu me paramam vacha Yatte ham priyamanaya Vakshyami hitakamyaya.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Soni Mataji, is it possible for you to read the text? And we can repeat after you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, 1 minute. I'm just getting it.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Okay, 1 minute, Mataji. Sorry for the delay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Bhuya eva Mahabaho.
Bhuya eva Mahabaho.
Shrunu me paramam vacha.
Shrunu me paramam vacha.
Yate ham priyamanaya.
Yate kam priyamanaya.
Vakshami hitakamyaya.
Vakshyami
hitakamyaya.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maybe I can try. Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Bhuya eva mano mahabaho.
Bhuya eva mahabaho.
Shruname paramam vacha.
Shrunu me paramam
vachah
yatteham priyamanaya
yatteham priyamanaya
priyamanaya
vakshyami hitakamaya.
vashyami
hitakam
hitakamyaya.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Divyesh Prabhuji, can you do word to word, please, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha,
Shri
the Supreme,
Bhagavan.
Bhagavan was
the Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
the Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
Puya again,
Puyaha
Godhead
again.
said,
Puyaha
Bhuyaha
Again.
again.
again,
again,
Eva,
Eva
Yava
certainly,
certainly,
Mahabaho,
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 Almighty Armed,
Almighty
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 Arm,
Arm,
Trunu,
Shunu,
just here,
just
Just
here,
me,
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 my,
my
my,
Paramam,
Paramam
Paramam,
Supreme,
Supreme
Supreme,
Vacha,
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 instruction,
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 Yat,
Yaksh
Yat,
that,
that
that which,
that which,
Te,
they
to you,
to you,
Aham,
Aham,
I,
I,
Priya Manaya,
Priyamanaya,
Priyamanaya,
thinking you dear to me,
thinking
thinking
you
you
dear
dear
to
to
me,
me,
Vakshami,
Vakshami,
say,
say,
Hita Kamyaya,
Hitakamyaya,
for your benefit.
for
for
your
your benefit.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Ravi Prabhuji, is it possible for you to read the translation? Hare Krishna, Ravi Prabhuji. Okay. Okay. Prahlad, can you read the translation, please?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ravi Prabhuji, can you read the translation, please?
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll read. Thank you, Mataji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty armed Arjun, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you read it once more so that we can repeat after you? Ravi Prabhuji.
Yeah. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
The
The
Supreme Personality of Godhead said,
said,
listen again,
listen
listen
again,
again,
O mighty Arjun, mighty
O
armed,
O mighty armed Arjuna,
because you are my dear friend.
because you are
because
my
you are my
dear
dear
friend.
friend,
For your benefit, I shall speak to you further,
For your benefit, I shall
benefit,
speak
shall
to
speak
your
to you
future,
further,
giving knowledge that is better
giving
giving knowledge that is
that is
better than
than what I already explained.
then
what I
what
have.
than what I have
already
already
I
explained.
have explained.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prahlad Prabhu, kindly read the purport.
Okay. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Jai.
Yeah. The word Bhagwan is explained thus by Parasa Muni, one who is full in six opulences, who has full strength, full fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation, is Bhagwan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all six opulences. Therefore, great sages like Parasa Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now Krishna is instructing Arjuna in more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now, in this chapter, he explains specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. Again, in this chapter, he talks his manifestations, various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme God, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. One should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. That will enhance one's devotional service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The Lord clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such discourses are taking place. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prahlad. Anything to reflect on? Anybody? Maybe I can start. Well, after yesterday, I thought that was the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday's shloka, I thought this is all I need to know. If I need to know the Bhagavad Gita, and it should have ended there. But now I think I know I have the answer to my question of what is there still to know. And now we are embarking on the opulences of God, who I think there'll be a description of his strength, his fame, his wealth, his knowledge, his beauty, and renunciation. So we know about his energies, which he had described in the previous chapters. But now I think this chapter is for the opulences that he has. Hare Krishna. Anybody can add in? I think it's a very short introduction.
Yeah, I have a realization.
Yes, please.
Now here in the purport, we are being told that we are being told how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, and that he is one who is full in 6 opulences, just by the word Bhagwan. Normally in certain classes, I will hear people saying Krishna Bhagwan, and just that. So now we're being given the definition that he is called this because he is full in 6 opulences, which is strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. And now we can see this in various pastimes, or like various pastimes of his. And now we're told here that while Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all 6 opulences, which is true. We see them from these pastimes. I don't want to say kill, but he did liberate all the demons. And of course, he had to use his strength. He had to use his strength for that. Everyone knew who Krishna was. So that is fame. Wealth, knowledge, of course, he was smart. And he had an abundance in wealth from some perspective. Beauty and renunciation. Okay, renunciation, I don't know where, but beauty, you will hear everyone praising Krishna. They would always say, like, even in these Krishna cartoons and everything, they will always say, I wish my son was like Krishna. I wish, they were like Krishna. I wish they were like this, they were like that. So we are all being given, the description of Krishna's beauty. And so we are told that many sages have therefore accepted him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we just came from the most confidential knowledge, and now we are learning opulence of the Absolute. Now, here, what I've noticed in the purport Let me find it. Yeah, here I think so Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain to us so that we don't get confused in this chapter that we're in, that previously in the 7th chapter, the Lord had already explained his different energies and how they are acting. And now in this chapter, he explains his specific opulences to Arjuna. So yeah, those were his energies, and now we're talking about his opulences. So one must not be confused, or at least even if they might be like, okay, I won't be confused, I have notes, but still, it's just good to make sure. You know, I mean, like I even have notes, but when I saw opulence of the absolute, I was like, are we going to be repeating what we just discussed before? So now is when I'm realizing, no, this will be different, slightly different. And we were told that in the previous chapter, he clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion in firm conviction. And again, in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestations and various opulences, and which we will then notice that the chapter immediately after this will be discussing the universal form. But for now, we are discussing about his opulences. And we're told this now and again that whenever one hears about the Supreme Lord himself, every time, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. Like, that's why you'll normally find whenever you go to each and every one of the temples, probably it's not the purpose, but I believe that the reason why you always hear, the kirtan going on, like be it from people who are singing, or they normally have that I don't know how to put this, but they normally connect it, and they normally put Srila Prabhupada chanting, singing kirtan. So there's that sort of atmosphere whereby when you come to a temple, you sort of get your mind fixed in devotional service. Because when you think about it and imagine, if I came to a silent temple and there's murtis, yes, but there's no kirtan, that is when I guess you start getting the feeling that I have come here for something. I have come here to pray so that I can get something. But when you hear that kirtan, it's like, I am here, but I am here to pray. Yes, and that is it. I am here to offer my devotional service to Krishna. Then we're told that one should always hear about Krishna in the association of devotees. And we are told here about, discourses in the society of devotees that can take place only among those who are anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. So all of us here, we all have some interest in Krishna consciousness, especially after the starting of this journey. People are more excited. I mean, like I'm also more excited to find what's in the next chapters, especially the last chapter, which is the perfection of renunciation. I mean, like I want to know how to perfect it. And we are also being told that others cannot take part in such discourses if they have lack of interest. You must have an interest in something to like it and continue onwards with it. There has to be that passion, and here we are, that we have this passion, and we're excited on how we can perfect ourselves in Krishna consciousness in ISKCON. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prahlad. It seemed like a class, but thank you for your realization. Vishakha Mataji, you have something to add on?
Yeah, it's just a small realization. Where it, I didn't follow the whole purpose, I beg your pardon, but there was a part whereby it mentioned that through love, we how to improve our devotional service through loving the Lord. Yeah. So one realization means, as Prahlad said, his fame, beauty. So that's, yes, when we say about Krishna, of course, these 6 opulences, he's got all these 6 and all that. When I used to listen, it used to be like, okay, 6, I know these 6 opulences, but how to love him, how to really love the Lord. That is the big key to the devotional service. And what I have just taken in is that we have to contemplate, like read the shloka, read the verse, and look at it upside down, or apply it in your life in practice. That how, because one thing which bothered me always was how do I improve my devotional service when these modes of material nature are playing all the time with you, like, taking you down and all that. How do you do it? How do you do it? So through analyzing, and just this morning's realization, I was reading 1426 about Mom. We had learned that shloka in the Bhakti Shastri. So I had like sort of learned it and, by heart and all that 1426. I'm not so good at remembering now. But Mom, so Charini, it's about what the shlok means is, I was reading in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and now it made me realize that how do you increase the love is through devotional service. But how do you improve your devotional service is listening to the pastime and going deep into the Lord's pastime, and then applying it with you in your real life. And that's how one improves the devotional service. So it's just that little realization that it's all about loving the Lord, and that's when we'll improve the devotional service. And through that, the material, the modes, we will through our love, we will then, this modes of material nature won't bother us, and we will get stronger and stronger in our devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for emphasizing that point, because when devotees tell us about their realization, we say, oh yeah, actually that is true. So thank you very much, Mataji, for that contribution. Okay.
Hare Krishna, can I add something?
Yes.
Okay. Basically, the Lord here emphasizes telling Arjun again, listen again. So hearing is very, very important. I think Lord Krishna is emphasizing that again. And he's saying, if you're his friend, he gives you further knowledge, then better than what he's already explained. So 2 things. 1, we should be listening to anything to do with Lord Krishna. We should try and become his friend. And in that way, he will always increase our knowledge exponentially, I believe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any more realizations before I hand over to Prabhuji? Okay, Prabhuji, we'd like to hand over to you. I have let you share your screen.
Okay. So yeah, before I begin, just I'll start with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So yeah, we are on to chapter 10, which is opulence of the absolute. And actually, we've gone through all these chapters, and we are still continuing on what Krishna is actually telling us. Just going back to the realization, your realization, you thought it is end of Bhagavad Gita, there is more to come, opulence. And actually Prahlad elaborated on 6 opulences, and he said about the atmosphere at the temple. And Vishaka said about the love of God, when you chant, and when, realization. And Divyash Prabhu he said about the hearing, which is quite important. And actually, when I'm going to say things more, actually there is more emphasis on hearing on this actually particular version 10.1. Hearing is quite important. So I will just, as I said, I'll share my screen and we'll go through the opulences or what this is trying to tell us. So can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So actually the acronym for this particular chapter, which Sutapa Prabhu has given us, is the C. Acronym is C. So actually, the thing is, we are seeing Lord everywhere. We are seeing Lord everywhere. His energy. Yeah, we can see sun. We can see, moon. We can see all the trees. We can see the food we eat. We see everything. So we are actually seeing Lord everywhere. So I'll just go and read the first overview. I just need to change my screen. Okay, that's fine. So the opulence of the absolute. When discussing the subject of spirituality among different audiences, certain reservation invariably seem to surface. People complain that they cannot see God at work, that he is not manifest in person before their eyes, and that they have no different perception of his existence. Show me God, and then I'll believe in him. The skeptic's position. In chapter 10, Krishna again explains how the spiritualist can simultaneously perceive God as the source of the creation, and also see God within the creation. This, however, requires more than an intellectual understanding. It actually calls for transformation of one's consciousness and purification of the senses. So if someone can read me the acronym, actually before I start also, this chapter 10 is quite important in other way, is actually has got the Chatur Shloki, 4 sloks, which are so important. And just by reciting them, actually, actually what Supreme Personality of Godhead is about. So the Chatur Shloki is from text 8 of chapter 10 to text 11 of chapter 10. So when you come to this, actually we have been reciting quite a lot of these. Sometimes I repeat those in my referencing. The first one is Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Mata Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Buddha Bhava Samavita. So you have actually come across this. I think I've quoted a few times, and so quite a lot of other people have quoted as well. So these sloks are very important, 8 to 11, and quite a lot of people actually just recite them every day. So these are the key Chatur Shloki. So if I can ask, so Kirtika Mataji, can you read the screen about what S stands for?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
S stands for source of everything, 1 to 7. Modern science is founded upon the methodology of ascending knowledge, where one attempts to understand the totality of reality by empirical research and experimentation. Krishna makes a simple but powerful rebuttal of this approach. He explains how something which has been created cannot understand its source independently. For example, if one wanted to ascertain the identity of their father using a purely experimental approach, it would be incredibly impractical and most likely inconclusive. However, if one accepted the testimony of their mother first, and subsequently experimented, such an approach would more likely be successful. In the same way, all the material and spiritual creation have their source in Krishna, and one who approaches him can get scientific insight into their identity and purpose. Later, Krishna will explain how such knowledge can actually be directly perceived. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is what we'll be covering today on text 1. So I will ask somebody else. So if Divyesh Prabhu, can you read the Essence of Gita, the second acronym E?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The essence of Gita. These 4 verses contain the essence of the Bhagavad Gita and describe spirituality in its 3 essential stages. The first stage is entitled Sambandha, or knowledge of one's relationship with God and the universe. The second stage is a practice and application of such knowledge in one's daily life, technically known as Abhidaya. The third stage is the mature fruit of such practice, which is the pure spiritual consciousness and unbounded love of God. This is known as Prayojana. Thus, the Bhagavad Gita is actually a spiritual science, since there is hypothesis, sambandha, experiment, abhidaya, and observation, stroke conclusion, prayojana. These 4 verses, 8 to 11, give a roadmap of spirituality from beginning to end. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So as I said before, that 8 to 11 actually are the most important, quite important actually. And quite a lot of people recite them again and again. And Abhidaya, Prayojana is mentioned here, and Sambandha. So Sambandha, actually, if you think about it, is like us knowing actually that we are eternal part and parcel of the Supreme. Yeah. So that is, we are spirit soul. That is the Sambandha, identifying that is key, Sambandha. So when you know actually you are spirit soul, what do? You establish the relationship with the Lord. You start practicing. You chant the names of the Lord. You start reading the books. You start reciting slokas from Bhagavad Gita, and so on. You do like we said in the previous verse, Manvana Madabhava Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskaru. You do all those activities to, put that in practice. So when you put that in practice, it is Abhidaya. And ultimate goal is Prayojana. Prayojana is actually the loving devotional service to the Lord, to actually come to that prema stage of actually you have unalloyed devotion to the Lord. Yeah, so the prema stage is the final stage, and that is the one we are aiming for. So that is the goal. So I'll go on to the next acronym. So I can ask someone to read that final acronym, which is everywhere. And if Ravi Prabhu, if you don't mind reading everywhere, 12 to 42.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Everywhere, Arjuna is satisfied by Krishna's explanations and requests him to elaborate further on his characteristics and qualities. In response, Krishna describes the most prominent among his limitless, all-pervading opulences. By doing this, he explains how one can actually think about him, meditate on him, and see him everywhere. It is not that Krishna is physically all the things he mentions, but rather that he is the very essence of them, their strength, fame, wealth, and so on. After naming 82 opulences, Krishna concludes by stating that these simply hint his glory, since he pervades and supports the entire universe with a mere fragment of his energy. If this were only one equipped with eyes and knowledge, in the heart of devotion will see Krishna in all times, places, and circumstances. Others, however, will miss the obvious. The obvious. As Helen Keller reminds us, worse than being blind is to have sight but no vision. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So yeah, that's the acronym. So yeah, if you can remember C, and that will be very easy actually to remember what chapter 10 is about. So Mataji, I will just go on to slok 10.1, and if we've got time, we'll go on to the acronym for chapter 9. Yeah.
Prabhuji, we even if we don't have, if you can give it to us at the end, because
Okay, what I will do, I'll forward it on to you,
okay,
and then you can share it in the group.
okay, Prabhu.
Okay. So yeah, 10.1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam tu te guyatamam. That's the right one. No, that's the wrong one.
Bhuya eva mana bhavo.
I have come to the wrong page. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Bhuya eva mahabhavo shrunu me paramam vachaha yatteham priyamanaya vakshyami hitakamyaya. So I was just referring to a few of the notes actually, which are from my Bhakti Shastri course, and also I took something from Prabhupada's lectures and also something from Radhanath Swami lectures. So in chapter 7, actually, if we think about Lord actually tells us, Mayi akshat asakta mana partha yogam yunjam mad ashraya asam sayam samagram mam yatha gnasyasi tak shrunu. Now, the important word in here is tak shrunu. Yeah, tak shrunu means now here. Yeah, we say, O son of Partha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Now here, yeah. So in this chapter as well, he states, listen again, yeah, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Yeah. So he's saying now here, yeah, twice he is saying now here. And actually, if you think about the Nauda Bhakti, what is the first thing which comes into one of the thing of Nauda Bhakti? So if I can ask.
Prabhuji, Nauda Bhakti means hearing, chanting, smaranam.
That's right. Yeah. So the first bit is hearing. Yeah. So actually, Krishna has already given us knowledge from chapter 2 to chapter 9. Yeah. But he is so kind that he wants to give us further assurance that where your original home belongs to. Yeah, so he's giving us the further assurance here. So in text 7, he says, Tak shrunu, like we said, I just recited. Now here, and he again emphasized on this point again on text 1 of the 10th chapter. So he says, listen again. Yeah. So listen is very important. The first point is in Navda Bhakti, as I said, is Shravanam, hear. So we hear from our parents, we also hear from our teachers, and we try to put that into practice. So if those who fail to put the listening, whatever the parents have told them or whatever the teachers have told them, what is actually the result of that? So if I can ask people, what's the result actually if you fail to listen to your parents or you fail to listen to your teachers? What will happen?
You will get into trouble.
You will get into trouble. So you fail, yeah? Basically, if you don't listen to your teacher, you will fail your exams. And if you don't listen to the parents, then you'll suffer. An example actually was given if is of a child. Such a child doesn't know, the fire actually burns. And the parent says, don't touch it, yeah? Don't touch it. But if the child doesn't listen and he goes and touches the fire, he will burn his hand, yeah? So that is it. Krishna is saying hear. So we should hear. When we hear something, we should actually put that into practice, yeah? That is very important. We need to put that into practice. So here Krishna is telling us to hear, listen, but then we have to put in practice in what we have heard, rather than listening and not putting into practice. So that's very important. So the first word in the text, bhuya. So bhuya means repeated. Yeah. So Krishna consciousness is actually very easy. At the same time, it is very difficult. If we take, for example, 1866, it says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vaja. It is very easy. How is it easy? If we surrender unto the Lord. Yeah. So, but actually, if you think about it, we have made it very difficult as we think that we are the enjoyer. Everything belongs to me. Why do I need to go to the temple? For instance, why do I really need to go to the temple? There is no another life after this. So we think, oh, there is no life after this. Let's enjoy. In Gujarati say, ekas fere jivanu che ne jivilyo. Yeah, ekas fere jivanu che jivilyo. Yeah, enjoy. So this is the saying, and people actually don't realize that. Ek fere jivanu nathi. There is no way you can live twice, once. Okay, so this is actually demon way of thinking. Their business is to drive away God consciousness, because material world is full of demons. Every one of us is more or less actually like a demon. That is Prabhupada saying. He says every one of us like is a demon. Yeah, because just like a prison house, sometimes we are a first-class prisoners, or a second-class prisoners, or a third-class prisoners. So some may have committed a big offense to become a criminal, so they are in a third class, a murder or something. Somebody may have just stolen something, they are a second-class prisoner, a thief, and somebody may have actually pushed someone and they went into prison. So first class, second class, and third class. So we are still a prisoner, we are still criminals. That's why we are here in this material world. Yeah. So we have we have done some violation of law. Yeah. So material world is compared to prison house. We have defied the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah. So the degree may be different, as I said. So Prabhupada actually also quoted an explanation given by one of the Vaishnava poet. He says, Krishna bhuliya jiva bhoga vancha kare. Vasate maya tare japatiya ahare. So the meaning of that is that our material world contract is due to our forgetfulness of Krishna, and that Krishna is the only enjoyer. He is the predominator, supreme, the proprietor. Our mentality is that. So our mentality is that I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer. So this is how we think. So in this verse, Krishna says, Bhuya eva mahabaho. So mahabaho means a great soldier. So if he's a great soldier, Arjuna is mahabaho, so as he can fight with thousands of men alone. So another meaning is that unless one is very strong in determination, he cannot make advancement in Krishna consciousness. And this is what we have to take from this, that actually we have to be very strong in our determination, which is quite important. We have 4 prohibited principles: no illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling. So especially in this age where people's mind are disturbed and agitated, it is very difficult to give up unless one is mahabhavo, with strong determination. People at times don't want to come and join us, so join Krishna consciousness, because they think it is too difficult to give up the 4 prohibited principles. They think it's too much. Yeah. So quite a lot of people actually get scared of that. Yeah. So Krishna says, Bhuya eva mahabhavo shrunu me paramam vacha. Everything what Krishna says is paramam. Yeah. So what is paramam? Paramam is the supreme truth. Yeah. The supreme truth. So Krishna cannot commit any mistakes. The difference between Krishna and ourselves is that whatever we do, they are subjected to many deficiencies because we are conditioned. Because we commit mistakes, we are under illusion. We cheat, our senses are imperfect, yeah, and we make mistakes. Yeah, those are we are conditioned. Yeah. So, and Krishna is not like that. He's not conditioned. Yeah. So whatever he says, that is supreme and it is transcendental. Yeah. That is paramam, supreme truth. So because we are conditional, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna in so many different ways, just to convince him that this is the duty, because Krishna has been accepted by Arjuna as a spiritual master. So actually, Krishna is acting here while he's saying, listen to me, you listen to me. He's like his spiritual master. And actually, Arjuna is listening. Why is he listening? Because if you remember in 2.7 of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna said, Karpanya dosha pahata swabhava prachamitam dharma samudacheta yat shreyasyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyatamaham sadimam tvam prapanam. Yeah. So that is where he actually says that now I am confused about my duty and lost all composure because of the miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and the soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Yeah, From then on, Arjun actually has become Krishna's disciple. And Krishna is telling him, now hear from me. Now keep on hearing from me. Yeah. So teacher is repeatedly saying the same thing, negative way, positive way. So student may be convinced of the actual truth. So he is saying, again, I'm saying to you, actually, understanding Bhagavad Gita means to surrender to Krishna. Two words, surrender to Krishna, but will not surrender. Therefore, Krishna has to speak to Arjun in so many ways. So if we immediately accept to surrender to Krishna, that is the perfect knowledge. So one of the example Prabhupada gave, it was in Narad Mancha Ratra. So he says, if one is engaged in worshipping, in rendering devotional service to Krishna, then all tapasya is finished. He has got all results of the tapasya. So he says, Aradhito yad haris tata kim. If you have developed your love for Krishna and your loving attitude, you are engaged in his transcendental service. Then all your tapasya is finished. Yeah, like in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 1. Lord Rishabdev actually says to his sons, my dear boys, of all the loving entities who have all accepted the material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night. So you shouldn't be working hard day and night. So simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs, that eats stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of the devotional service. By such activities, one's heart is purified and one attains the position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. So this is the aim of the life. We should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. And by such activities, our heart becomes purified and one attains this position. He attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. So how can we purify our heart? Yeah, we've said repeatedly, Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam kalau nasteva gatir anyata. So there is no other way, there is no other way in this age of Kali, but simply by chanting the names of Hari, this will actually deliver you. So everyone actually wants more money, bank balance, big business. They want to become minister, president. Actually, everyone will offer respect. The thinking is everyone offer respect to me. We saw from the class Radhakant Prabhu gave, Trinadapi Sunichana Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtanaya Sadahari. Yeah, do not actually think about who will give me respect. Don't think of a respect. Yeah, so the three things everyone wants is profit, adoration, and fame. Labha, puja, pratishtas. So these are the three things everyone wants. So we have to submit instead of being puffed up. So we have to submit to the Lord. So Krishna says, Yat te ham priyamam manaya. You are my very dear friend. So he says here, Yatteham Priya Manaya. Yeah, so you are my very dear friend. So we have to become dear to our teacher or guru. Yeah, like it was said in chapter 4, text 34. Tad vidhi pani pratena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam gnanina tattva darshina. You have to very humbly submit to your spiritual master, give him service, satisfy him, and he'll think that my student is very submissive, very humble. So we need to be taught in this way very nicely. So even the guru will be actually pleased, and he will actually teach you the real, actually, what is the real knowledge. So student who is submissive will receive teacher's blessings, and he'll give the best instructions for your welfare. I can end here, and if anyone's got any comments, or I can continue, but I think I've covered most of the 10.1. I've got some more points, but we can go to, if we have got time. Oh no, okay. If we've got time, we can go to the, but I will send you the acronyms for 9. So any comments, any further things you want to say?
Hare Krishna, any comments? Prabhuji has emphasized the points of hearing. How can we love somebody? Only if we know about him. How can we know about him is by listening, by hearing. So that is the most important take-home point. And to be the favorite of your teacher, which is, we want that all the time in any school that we have gone to. Anybody has any other comments or contribution? Okay, I think it is fairly straightforward, Prabhuji, and you've put it in a very nice way, so there are no doubts. Maybe as we graduate on to the chapter, we might have more questions. So, with no further ado, I'll hand over to Parth Prabhuji. Parth Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, I am joining late because we are some temple work. But it is very nice class, undoubtedly. Avinash Prabhuji giving very nice examples and also different quotes from the Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and other related books, related scriptures. It is very interesting. Here after the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge, we are entering into the uplands of the God. Before we know also God means Bhagavan. It is Parasara Manish described. Bhagavan means there is who is full in 6 opulence. He is also divine. A definition. What is the 6 opulence? Like Ashuryasa, Samagra, Sajasa, Sabiriyasa, Siya. There is a full, everything is in a full. It is written by Prabhupada in his purport. This is the Bhagavan. Now there are so many. A so-called person, they told, we are Bhagavan, I am Bhagavan, you come to my surrender. But that is not happened. Even Prabhupada also giving comment. When Krishna is in 6 month old, when she's sucking breast milk from Putana, she killed her. Who will do that one? There are so many instances. So we are, and everything in this chapter throughout this one, what is the most important thing and what is the most beautiful thing, and that is by Krishna. Like I am the Gandha of the, yes, give me. That will also, like Prithvi Acha Gandham, is the smell of the Prithvi, the earth, and also Swad, Rasoham of Yukanteya. Is the taste of the water, whatever it may be, the beautiful things we have seen, it is the Krishna. So that in this chapter, when we are slowly, this is the past introduction one, when we are going slowly, we can understand what is everything in our everyday life. In every step, we can recognize God. When I take the water, we think this is the taste is water, is God. The smell of the flower is God. The smell of the earth is God. So many things. So we'll slowly know so that we can more surrender to God. When we see the affluence, oh, Krishna is like this, so that we can know that one. In this way, Arjuna was not he is a devotee. So that when Krishna told all the things, he have no doubt. But he at least he told in the future, in the Kali Yuga or in the people, they were thinking, oh, Krishna only told, but he cannot explain. But the practical, everything practical, we now it is practical. So that Arjuna request for us, oh Krishna, you told everything, I have no doubt. Please can you show your universal power? Then Krishna show him. Then why? Because when we know somebody's affluence, somebody's power, position, then we became more lenient. We became more favorable to him. So that is the thing. It is not means Krishna want to show all the things, but this is your benefit. When I heard more and more the qualities, the affluence, the power, everything, the unimagined things, then we became more surrender. We became more submissive. This is the thing. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful class. I think there is no, if it is a question, you can ask Avinash, Prabhuji. In my side, I am okay, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, if your permission, then we can conclude this session. Yeah, any question? Mataji, please ask if any question. Yeah, okay, thank you. So, I request everyone, please, on the group who are joining, please unmute yourself. And for glorification of His Avinash Prabhuji, please chant Hare Krishna mantra once. Please join. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Srila Prabhupada
ki jai.
Jai.
Avinash Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Sarva Vaishnava ki jai.
Jai.
Everyone ki jai.
Yes.
Hari Bol.
Hare
Hari Bol.